Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, and we are of course the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. Now, something we see a lot of on this show is fitness being used as therapy. Well, my guest tonight has taken this to the next level as she transformed her life into a competitive bodybuilder in just 8 weeks. Andrea Corbett will be telling me all about how bodybuilding saved her from crippling anxiety and depression. Our resident doctor and sexual health expert Rob Hicks will be telling us his top tips for maintaining our sexual health. And we'll also be treated to a performance of Call On Me by musician Michael G. Macdermid. Then at the end of the show, I'll be giving you my tips on how you can get motivated when you're feeling depressed. Now, bodybuilding and weightlifting have become increasingly popular exercises over recent years, with more than 125,000 people lifting weights on a monthly basis, according to Sport England's Active People survey. That's a significant increase from previous years, most of all in women. British Weightlifting report that the ages of those engaging with weightlifting is also widening, with an increase in younger and older people being attracted. They suggest that the rise of movements such as CrossFit, a high-intensity program of varied functional movements, along with more awareness around the benefits of weightlifting, are among the key drivers increasing its participation and popularity. Well, we know that Andrea is not alone in finding that weightlifting has helped her mental health, and let's see how it has also benefited some of you. Tom says would preach to anyone who suffers with their mental health to try weightlifting. It has undoubtedly changed my life for the better. Sean says, I really can't stress how good weightlifting is for my mental health. If I miss workouts, there's a dramatic impact on my stress level. Grace says, weightlifting has helped my mental health so much, but when I mention it, I just feel like people think I'm bragging. Watermelon Love warns, all I'm going to say about the drama, mental health comes before fitness bodybuilding results. Always, please take care of yourself. And AHS Central Zone say crossword puzzles are like weightlifting for the brain. Physical activity may help mental health too. Whilst Matthew jokes, I definitely don't do weightlifting, but yeah, it's done wonders for my mental health. Well, make sure you stay tuned to hear how weightlifting and bodybuilding helped my guest tonight, Andrea Corbett, later on in the show. But before that, as many of you will know, protein is vital for repairing muscles and tissues following a workout. And sales of protein shakes and snacks are steadily rising. But there are many different ways of getting the right amount of protein into your body, as Danielle Shine shows here with her recipe for protein-rich chickpea basil pate.
It's time to make foods we can eat and enjoy outdoors. It is so important to spend at least 10 to 15 minutes under the sun every day to absorb vitamin D, which helps to regulate our hormones and positively impact upon our health and happiness. The chickpea basil pate I'm going to show you how to make right now is packed full of protein and tastes delicious with some chopped vegetables or fruit. It's a great alternative to butter on toast, crackers and bread. So come and join me in the kitchen and I'll show you how to make it.
Vegetable pâtés are a wonderful way to add extra nutrition into your daily diet. All you need to make a delicious pâté is some healthy and affordable ingredients like the ones you see here. Aside from the main ingredient, chickpeas, garlic is a wonderful health supportive ingredient that will add flavour to the pâté. Using your food processor as the main bowl, combine chickpeas and garlic with unhulled tahini, which is higher in nutrition than normal tahini, raw unsalted cashew nuts that provide healthy fats, cumin for flavour, sea salt for added minerals, extra virgin olive oil for more healthy fats, and fresh lemon juice for added flavour. Feel free to add some of the lemon pulp, which is great for your digestive system. Last but not least, the main ingredient for this pâté is fresh basil, which provides an excellent dose of vitamin K and manganese, as well as vitamins A and C, iron, folate, calcium, and omega-3 fats. If you don't regularly incorporate basil into your diet, you might want to think about doing so. It's an incredibly versatile ingredient and super cheap if you decide to grow your own. Blend all ingredients on high until your pâté becomes smooth and creamy. Pour into a bowl to serve straight away or store in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 5 days. Enjoy with crackers, on toast, or with freshly chopped vegetables for a great dose of lean, green nutrition. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.
Well, thanks very much to Danielle. And now we have Dr. Rob Hicks here to discuss sexual health and the many ways we can help maintain a sexually healthy lifestyle. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Hi, Chris. Hi.
So, sexual health today. Now, a common question from many people is, what is a healthy sexual appetite? Can you reveal, please?
Yes, it is. It's a really common question. People want to know, am I normal? And there's a simple answer to it. If, in a partnership, people are satisfied with their sexual appetite and their sexual relationships and it's fulfilling, then that's normal. Providing the appetite is not causing stress or harm to the individual or their partner.
Like an addiction, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's normal. Obviously, there's variability amongst couples, but so long as they're both happy with the quality of the sex and the quantity of the sex, then I would say that's a normal sexual appetite.
And Rob, what are the main sort of common problems that men and women face in their sexual health, would you say?
Well, the common problems, one is sex drive, libido, and a lack of. Then there's arousal, which for women often manifests in a vaginal dryness, and for men manifests in erectile dysfunction. And then there are problems with orgasms. So it might be that a man or a woman is not achieving any orgasm, or for men it's a premature orgasm, and that's what's causing the problem. Then of course there's pain during or after sex, and that could be caused by inflammation, infection, vaginal dryness. It might be in women that they've got ovarian cysts or a condition called endometriosis, which makes it uncomfortable when they're having sex. And then of course the other problems that we often see in a sexual health clinic is sexually transmitted infections. So these are the common problems, each of which is relatively easy to diagnose and to treat once the person comes and asks for help, and that's often the hardest thing for an individual to do.
Okay, so it's embarrassment, I suppose. It's
embarrassment, and they're worried that there's something wrong with them, and often it's not just, it could be a physical problem, it could be a psychological problem, it could be, in this day and age, that people are just so exhausted and tired, and they're working so hard, and they're so distracted.
Social media.
The energy, the motivation, the feeling isn't there.
And Rob, in terms of maintaining a good sexual health, what would be your top tips?
Well, my top tips for maintaining good sexual health would be very much that, if you're with a new partner, or if you have more than one partner, that you practice safer sex by using condoms. If you feel that you might have been exposed to a sexually transmitted infection, that you get checked out, so if you have, you can get treated. I think it's very, very important to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So a healthy diet, not too much alcohol, avoiding recreational drugs and not smoking, because all those things will damage the mechanisms of having sex. And I think one of the key things really is to have fun and relax and enjoy sex, because it's, when you think about the benefits of sex, then people say anecdotally, done well, it will exercise every single muscle in the body, so it's a very good workout. From a stress management point of view, it's a very good way of managing stress. People often feel very relaxed. This is why people fall asleep after they've had sex. And in life, sex can be fun. So it's, it has all these benefits, but also if you maintain your sexual health with a healthy lifestyle and protecting yourself and your partner, then the answer is very, very clear.
Now, sometimes one of the problems that can arise is a person's mental health. If it's not going well, if they're depressed or anxious about anything, that also can affect things in the bedroom.
Well, it does. And if you think about many of the reasons for things like a lack of lubrication in women and a lack of erections in men, it's actually down to a psychological component. It's anxiety, it's stress, it's depression.
Really?
And then people get into this negative downward spiral where they start worrying that problems are going to arise, and lo and behold, they do arise. So, and if you think about with anxiety and stress and depression, tiredness and fatigue are common symptoms. So again, there's all these components that can impact. Often it is a physical cause. Often, a lack of libido, for example, will be down to an underactive thyroid gland, or to anemia and tiredness, or it might be a side effect of medication. It might be because of lifestyle. People are working so hard, or they are consuming too much alcohol, and that's having an effect. But I don't think we should ever forget the mental health impact on a healthy sex life, because emotionally mental health problems can be very, very draining, and then people just don't feel like having sex and making love because they don't have the energy, they don't have the motivation, they don't have the libido.
Okay. But Rob, if someone is considering visiting a sexual health clinic and they're a bit unsure, a bit nervous, what can they expect on a visit?
Well, I think the most important thing that they can expect is not to be judged.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, many people feel that they can't go to a sexual health clinic unless they've got symptoms. Well, we do know that many of the sexually transmitted infections can be present without causing symptoms. But also, many people come along because they just want to be checked. Maybe they're embarking on a new relationship. They come as a couple and they want to be checked beforehand, so you don't have to have symptoms to come.
Okay.
And the other thing is, majority of sexual health clinics now don't just screen for sexually transmitted infections. They will offer women's cervical smears, they'll offer family planning advice, they'll offer counselling. So just because somebody's sitting in the waiting room, you can't look at them and say, "Oh, I know why you're here." You don't.
You don't. Yeah,
you
it could
don't.
be absolutely anything.
And age isn't a barrier either. You don't have to be in your 18 to 25-year-old to go to a sexual health clinic. You can be any age. There are no barriers.
All right, and would you just normally just go to your GP and they'll refer you?
No,
to,
you can go to, in the UK, you can go straight to sexual health clinics, and you don't even have to use your own name if you don't want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So even more reason for people that are a little bit embarrassed to go along.
Absolutely, because many people don't want to go to their GP because they don't want to talk about these things with their GP. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't, but they feel awkward, they feel embarrassed. But at the end of the day, sex is a normal part of life. It's how babies are made. It's a pleasurable experience for the most part. It's a great way of keeping fit, and it's a great way of managing stress, and it's a great way of having good fun.
Brilliant. Rob, thank you so much, and we'll see you again very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, after the break, we'll be watching a documentary courtesy of On Tracks, all about how fitness saved bodybuilder Macdermid from a life of crime and imprisonment. But first, how much protein on average do men and women need per day? Is it A, 55 and 45 grams respectively, B, 75 grams and 65 grams, or C, 95 grams and 85 grams? Tune in after this break to find out. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. Now, before the break, I asked you how much protein on average do men and women need per day? Is it A, 55 grams and 45 grams respectively, B, 75 and 65 grams, or C, 95 and 85 grams? The answer is A, 55 grams for men and 45 grams for women. Well, with Andrea's story in mind, here we have How Fitness Saved My Life, a documentary courtesy of On Tracks Productions, all about how bodybuilder Macdermid overcame a life of crime and imprisonment to become a competition-winning bodybuilder. Let's take a look.
Bad decisions, bad choices. I wouldn't say it was lack of ambition, because I was very ambitious. I just didn't know how to obtain the things that I wanted, and growing up, everyone I knew either worked 3 jobs or sold drugs. So I didn't really know any other outlets, you know what I mean, any other options, and that gauged who my role models were, basically. Like, the people who I looked up to was people who, seemed on the outside to have had an easier life, which, as I said, in my community were people who committed crime. There was no easy way out. I grew up, small house, single parent family. The cliche. I was the only child. I didn't really like to spend a lot of time at home, so I was always out on the streets. Obviously, things escalated. I used to start bonfires, used to just, do stuff. I was very mischievous. I had a lot of energy, do you know what I mean? I needed somewhere to channel my energy. Growing up, I was very ambitious, and the people around me didn't really have much stuff, do you know what I mean? Most of the neighbours knocking the door for sugar, milk, tea bag. My next door neighbour to my right used to sell the Big Issue. And like when I used to go into town, I used to see him, it's quite embarrassing. So, you know, we came from like nothing really. But my mum worked a lot of jobs and, you know, the electric meter's still coming on, do you know what I mean? Like, we still never had much money and it was kind of like, this ain't the life that I want when I grow up. In my younger years, yeah, I went through so many bad experiences and so much stuff. I seen like gun attacks, knife attacks, carjackings, so much crime. I was so accustomed to seeing so much stuff every day and, you know, like living that life, like nothing used to affect me. It's only now when I've kind of realized the value of life and, you know, how it affects other people where I'm, you know, very cautious, more risk averse, you know what I mean? Although my dad was a drug addict, I'd tell people my dad's on drugs. And they say, no, he's not. You'd see my dad, he's 6'3", he's 6'4", strong, he'd be going to the gym stronger than anybody else, still look healthy, do you know what I mean? It caught up on him in the end, but for many, many years, like, he was a drug addict and you couldn't tell, do you know what I mean? I used to run, I used to sprint, and actually I was like the fastest in my school. I've never lost a race to this day. I used to beat kids 3, 4, 5 years older than me. And it got to the stage, I remember I was about 12, 13 years old. My aunt used to come and take me to all the events, and it was like £15 a month I used to go. So my mum used to be like, oh, you going with your aunt? Like kind of get a bit jealous. So then I used to kind of feel bad for going. So then my aunt would say, oh, how's your sprinting getting on? I'd be like, oh yeah, it's great. I went last week when I never went because, you know, I felt like my mum kind of felt like a bit, like she couldn't afford it. It made my mum feel a bit small. So I kind of stopped really going to sprinting and just thought, you know what, I need to make a living for myself. And I think the day I brought my first pair of trainers and come home and seen the smile on my mum's face, from there it was kind of like, yo, you're a man now, you need to learn to look after yourself. I actually got a job from very young. My uncle, who was a carpenter, used to take me on a building site. I was accustomed to making like £400 to £600 a week at the age of 15, 16. So I spent my money on cars and motorbikes. So I was driving from a very early age. I was riding motorbikes from a very early age. And that's kind of how I got onto the police radar in the first place as a little nuisance. So when I was 16 years old, I was having problems at home. Me and my mum wasn't getting on at all. I think I reminded her of my dad, you know what I mean? I wanted to be the man of the house. She, you know, wanted to meet a new partner. I was alpha male going to the gym, like, who's this man? He ain't coming in my house. And I kind of probably made it hard for her. Long story short, a lot of things went on that year. My mum called the police on me. I was in at the police station. My mum had rows, like, do you know what I mean? I smashed windows at my grandma's, I smashed windows at my house. Like, I was just a nuisance, you know what I mean?
Why did you smash things?
I think it was a way of like, I was angry, you know what I mean? Because I knew, I was basically trying to say, look, just help me. I can be anything I want to be, but I need that support, do you know what I mean? I'm young, I haven't got the money. I couldn't really get that support. My mum came to me one day and she says, Mikhail, I'm moving out in a week. You're gonna have 2 weeks to find yourself somewhere to live. I just shrugged it off. Then the day come, the removal van came, she moved all her stuff out. And I think like after 2, 3 days of moving little bags and boxes, she was gone. And I was just like 16, left in his house, all my stuff still in my bedroom, the whole house is empty. That's how my aunt came heavily back in my life. She's looked through the letterbox, says, oh, the house is empty, what's going on? So I said, oh, my mum moved out. She's gone, what? So my mum moved out. She goes, well, you know on your own? She goes, Mikhail, you're 16. She goes, you're a baby. What makes you think you're a big man and you can live on your own? I said, I'm nice, obviously. Got money, got a car. She said, nah, forget all that. She said, come in to live with me. I went to live with her, got a job within weeks, started selling CDs in town, was doing quite well. And then I met my girlfriend then, my son's mom. But when I met her, I kind of lost a lot of focus. I was like young, 16, head over heels in love. Like, it wasn't about what I wanted to do in my life. My whole life I'd been chasing about what I wanted to do. Now it was just about being happy, what I thought was happy. See, the thing is, when I first went to prison emulated my local area. It was almost like going to prison was a stripe, like getting your honours at university. Prison for me was Sparkbrook, was Birmingham. I went in there, all my school friends was in there. I remember feeling really embarrassed because I know we say you shouldn't think you're better than people, but As I said, I always had a different plan for my life than them people, do you know what I mean? I always thought I'd end up in a different place. So when I actually was on the wing with him, I'm thinking, oh my days, I can't believe I've landed here. And the first morning's possibly the most memorable. When you come out and you get your breakfast and you think, yo, this is for real, like, I'm eating breakfast, like, I'm walking up the landing, like, seeing all these faces. Do you know what I mean? I've got like 10 minutes to eat before I have to go back behind my door, like, the stress, even thinking about it now is horrible. There's a lot of factors that made me lead to the bad decisions that I did then. Being let down by friends who told me to look after me when I come home and loads of other stuff. But that morning itself, I remember getting into the car, not really a care in the world. I didn't have anything to do with the planning of the cash in transit robbery, you know, I was asked to drive. We drove down to Wales, we had all the signs. The getaway car that we was using had 8 miles petrol in it. The bank was probably 10 miles away and we still went and done it. So it was kind of like, yo, we're here now, we're in Wales. I don't care if the car ain't starting. Do you know what I'm saying to you? I mean, I don't care if the car's got 8 miles petrol. We're gonna have to roll down the hill in neutral and park it somewhere else. Like, we're going to get this money, this is what we came to do, do you know what I mean? We went, the robbery was committed. On the way back, we got seen changing cars. I took a long chase. After about, I think, 40, 50 minutes of getting chased, fatigued, I crashed the car, ended up in a field in the middle of Wales, helicopters and dogs out. And I sat there thinking, yo, I've only got 5 months left. Like, you're gonna get birded for this. Like, this is gonna be a problem, man. I don't know how you're gonna get out of this one. The 5 years or whatever I never done. I've done it with young offenders, I've done it with my mates, I've done it in open prison. Like, I've done time then. And even before I went back to prison and got the life sentence for that crime, I thought, if I get through this, and if I can come out the other side of this, like, I'm done, finished, so I'll never commit a crime again. The hardest moment in my whole life, when I got my appeal, my aunt come to court, and like, you know, when you watch a film and you see a funeral, and you see like the mum mourning, like, I looked at my aunt's face, and I've never seen her look like that, and she looked like I was dead in a casket. I had some mad sort of vision of me in a casket looking at her face, and I was dead. That's how upset she looked. And I thought, I can't put this woman through this anymore. And I think from there, it's kind of like changed my whole perspective on life. Then in 2012, after I'd been sent back, I was just on my appeal. I had 6.5 years to do another 3 year, 3 months. My little cousin, I watched him on TV win a bronze in the Olympics. I'm thinking, same DNA. I knew it could have been a sprinter. No one else believed me. I thought, it's my time. Like, I want to use my genetics, you know what I mean, to do something when I get out. I looked up on my wall. I had 2 pictures of bodybuilders stuck up on the wall. And it's quite weird because I've had pictures of bodybuilders on my wall since a kid, but I've never really wanted to be a bodybuilder. And then I looked and I thought, bodybuilding. Yeah, I thought I'm going all the way to the top. And I started training differently, started eating more regularly. I started becoming a lot more focused.
What was the first day like when you came out?
Weird, car sick, going too fast, arguing with my aunt. Like, everyone wanted to come pick me up. My mate's like, yo, I'm coming to get you in Lambos for us. I'm like, nah, my aunt's coming for me. My aunt come and pick me up, I remember, and she's doing like 30 miles per hour. I'm saying, slow down, slow down. I'm really happy, she was crying, and I was trying my hardest not to cry. I know in the dark time it's hard to be positive and say, yeah, let's go, but it actually does work. And in the mornings, most mornings when I'm doing my cardio, I watch a lot of bodybuilding motivation stuff on YouTube, and the footage most times is irrelevant for me, but the words, especially from, you know, like powerful films like Pursuit of Happiness, and, you know, a couple of stories what I've seen where other people have made it through. And, you know, sometimes people who are moaning and complaining, they look at their story compared to someone else who's got an even more tragic story, which has turned to a powerful story. They've got to kind of weigh up what they're really complaining about and just, you know, stay positive and want better, want more. So what's this here?
It's the get old gym. It's what we do in the hood, innit? You got the bike.
Yeah.
How much is the membership for this gym, bro?
£2. You put it in the £1 £1 diamond. All day.
Close a kiss, Mary.
As you can see, I've only put on 2 stone. Quite. Right, that's a test run.
You carry on because I put that in there. You know what I'm like?
Ate your chocolates. Really good. What?
Got him!
Ready?
Yeah. Seriously.
Thank you very much to On Tracks Productions there. So after the break, bodybuilder Andrea Corbett will be telling me how she went from using exercise as therapy to becoming a competitive bodybuilder. But first, how many calories does Eddie Hall, the world's strongest man, eat per day? Is it A, 7,000, B, 8,000, or C, 10,000? Do you know this answer? Tune in after the break to find out. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. Now, before the break, I asked you how many calories does Eddie Hall, the world's strongest man, eat per day? Is it A, 7,000, B, 8,000, or C, 10,000? The answer, amazingly, is C, 10,000 calories spread across 8 meals, including everything from protein shakes to eggs, chicken, steak, and spaghetti bolognese. Well, now we have bodybuilder Andrea Corbett with us on the show, and she's here to share her experiences with us. Hello, Andrea.
Hi, Chrissy.
Lovely to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
So you're a bodybuilder.
I am.
But before you get into, how you got into bodybuilding in the first place and why, tell us about your previous career. What was work life for you back then?
So back then, I still am a school teacher. Mm-hmm. So I'm a school teacher. I was head of department for business studies and computing.
Yeah.
I love my job. I've been doing it for approximately 15 years.
Okay.
So qualified at 2005, but prior to that I was working in universities and in schools. Mm-hmm. And I didn't intend on becoming a school teacher when I was doing those roles, but I loved it so much that I qualified and became a qualified teacher. Okay. But as I said, I loved the job. I was doing really well. Mm-hmm. Grades are great. The students were doing, fantastically. But it was a stressful job, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But I didn't mind the workload because the outcome was, you couldn't weigh them both up. The outcome was really good to see the students happy and to see them get their grades.
But were you pushing yourself too much, or were you doing too much work, would you say?
Looking back now, I probably was doing a bit too much, but at the time, because when you're passionate about something, it's never too much. Yeah. And I was passionate about what I did. Okay. And
when did it actually start to go wrong then for you?
I noticed it started to go wrong the latter part of 2014. Mm-hmm. My workload was piling up. I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow never came. Mm-hmm. And it just kept going on like that for quite a long time. So the last point where I had to have the work done, that's when I rush and do it. Okay. So I lose out on sleep, and so I'll be tired the next day. Even the students started to ask me, so why is my work not getting marked? And for a student to ask that question, then you know something's wrong. But I didn't think about it in any other way, just thought that, I don't know what I actually thought at the time, but I just thought that But I know what I did think. I was scared to tell anybody what was actually happening.
Okay.
A fear of losing my job. I'd get the work done, but I was scared to say that, help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were scared? I mean, obviously you don't want to lose your job, but did you think that people wouldn't understand, or?
I didn't understand.
Okay.
I felt like it's hard for me to comprehend why wasn't I able to do my work. I've been able to do this for the last how many years, and now why am I struggling? Like I've just become a qualified teacher. It felt weird.
So then, how did the depression develop from there?
So that was the latter part of 2014, and then one day in February, I literally broke down in school.
Wow.
I went to see the HR lady, and because I would normally go to her if I felt a bit down and I was having issues at home, so I would go to speak to her. And I just couldn't stop crying, Chrissy. It felt as though someone had just switched on a tap, and it was just, even she was worried,
Yeah.
We had to close the doors because there were still students in the school. So, just thinking back to that day, I just couldn't stop crying. So she advised me to go and see the doctor. And that's what I did. I went to see the doctor, and once you tell the doctor that you're a teacher, they understand the stress that you're under anyway.
Yeah.
So the doctor was really cool. So I had a couple of days off, and he said, come back and visit. So I went back, and they extended the period and said, okay, just take out time for at least a couple of weeks to recuperate and see how you feel after that. And while I was at home, and at this point, I haven't told anybody that I was actually at home. So my parents thought I was still going to school, because I didn't know what to say to anybody. It was just,
you didn't want to worry them as well, did you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I went back to the doctors, and they'd done some tests. And cut a long story short, he basically said, through the test, you've got, he diagnosed me with a mental health illness. And, I just sat there and kind of like froze. Is that a mental health illness? I didn't actually know what it was.
Yeah.
So it just felt like he had told me my whole world had ended. And how am I going to tell anybody that I've got a mental health illness? Because I've only heard of negative connotations with that associated with mental health. So why have I got it? What's wrong with me? So yeah, that just kept on. I walked to the doctor, so on the way walking home, it was like, this doesn't make any sense. So
yeah. And after you had that diagnosis from the doctor, obviously they must have given you some advice and counselling and stuff like that. How did the bodybuilding come in, and why in particular bodybuilding?
Right, so I decided to do bodybuilding because I know that bodybuilding, you have to have some kind of discipline, and you have to focus on yourself, and you have to think about what you're eating. And I think that for me, I needed that discipline, and I needed something to set a goal, something to work towards, a reason to get out of the bed in the mornings.
Okay.
The doctor and my head teacher both encouraged me to go to the gym. And so I was going to the gym. I practically lived in the gym. Being in the gym was like my safe haven.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, why not put that time to some use and give me even more, like I said, the reason to be there,
Okay. But you could have just gone to the gym and just trained and got fit. But what made you actually want to take it that step further?
See, that's the thing. The stage that I was at, I would not have gone to the gym just to go to the gym.
Oh, okay.
I needed a reason to, like I said, to get out of the bed. It was really bad. And if I set myself that goal and I've told people now I'm going to have that goal, this is what I'm going to do, then it kind of like gave me that encouragement to do that.
Did you actually get spotted by someone to do bodybuilding, or is it something that you just decided?
So prior to that, one of the personal trainers in a gym said to me that I should be a model, and I got really happy because I thought, okay, then no, not that kind of, not a catwalk model, like not a catwalk model. I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, oh, bodybuilding. And then he gave me some advice about where to go and who to go and speak to. So I went to speak to a lady called Carmen Knight, and she was heavily into bodybuilding at the time, and from then it's just been like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And so that's...
So do people have to have like a certain body structure to do that, to do bodybuilding, or can anyone do it?
To tell you the truth, I think anyone can do it, because prior to him telling me that, I would not have known that women's bodybuilding even existed. So my body type, I don't know, was an average woman body type, I would say. And I've known people or women to have been overweight and lost the weight and gone into bodybuilding. So it's not just because you're in a particular shape or particular form. You work hard for your body. It's like a work of art. You know, you mold your body to the way that you want it to look. Yeah.
So then tell us what kind of impact that started having on you.
Wow. As I mentioned before, the discipline. So that discipline gave me, it changed me basically, because I could, believe it or not, I would sit down and binge eat anything I would want to eat. So being in the bodybuilding world, you can't do that. Well, you can, but if you do, it will show that you've done that. So it's helped me with my nutrition. And although people say, I don't know how you could, for me, I need, like I said, once again, I needed that discipline. It's helped me to focus on me, because I've got a teenage son, so my main focus was always with him and what he needed to do. So I've never really had a hobby. So for me, that was something that I could do for myself. And I believe at that time, that is exactly what I needed, something that was for me, because work was for the students. And so I've never really had any time for me. So
which is something actually we spoke about very recently, and it is very, very important. We had a guest on that spoke how there was something that she liked to do, which was, you know, being creative in arts and stuff like that, but she never made time to do it. And she said that she thinks that's part of the reason why she got depressed, because she wasn't doing anything that she enjoyed. She was just like working and that's it. But then as soon as she actually used doing a hobby as part of her recovery as well, and it really, really helped her, because she can focus on something now.
Exactly, and that's why I always state that bodybuilding saved my life, because I believe that I don't even want to think about what I'll be like now today if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now. So yeah.
Where are you with your mental health at the moment, would you say? How's it going?
At the moment, I'm in a much better place. I have more positive days than I do have negative. Although I still have the negative days, I now know how to manage them a lot better. Whereas before, I will be aggressive, my behaviour, the way how I interact with people, it'll be erratic. So now it's like, okay, just keep it shut. Smile and do what you've got to do. Whereas before, it was just whatever I thought would come out.
All right. And what do your family think about your bodybuilding? Do they find it a bit like, don't like it, or they're quite supportive?
At first, my mum was like, what are you doing? Like, bodybuilding, what is that? Especially when I couldn't eat her food.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm like, no, Mum, I'm prepping. She's like, but when I first started, my mum actually came to the gym. She surprised me at the gym. She came to the gym and she came and saw what I was doing, and she actually said she could hear me before she saw me. So I was working out. So so she's really proud of what I'm doing. And she's my #1 fan. Her and my aunt and my cousins will come to my shows because I do shows abroad, and so they actually now understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And they can see the differences of how it's helped me, basically.
So you're training now for a competition, aren't you, in December?
I am. I'm training for the IFBB World Championships. Which is to be held in France.
Brilliant.
I'm currently 5th in the world at the moment, and in Europe.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to that. I've started training early this time because previously I would wait for that to last 6 weeks before I really go hard. That's because I'd had a lot more negative days. And so it'd be a struggle for me to actually get to the gym.
To keep it up as well that long.
And the food. food was a big problem for me.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I struggled with the binge eating and just, you know, I would just go to the shop and and before I even got home, I would have eaten like the family size bag of crisp and popcorn and whatever else.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so it normally, the last 6 weeks, I'm struggling to be at the gym every day, hours on end, trying to do my cardio. So now I'm like, no. I now want to be in it to compete, whereas before I was in it because it was helping me mentally stabilise myself. Although it's helping me still mentally stabilise myself, but I'm in a better place now. So I feel like I can now control things a lot better and having a lot more positive days.
Right, well, we're going to be rooting for you here on the show.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Definitely, we want to see. And regarding teaching, do you still teach as well, you said then? Or is this your main thing? Is the bodybuilding the main thing now?
So I'm not teaching in schools, but what I do, I'm a personal trainer.
Okay.
But because of what I've gone through, I also train people how to train their minds.
Okay.
So I'm more of I call myself a well-being coach.
Okay.
So I'm a well-being coach for the body and mind. So what that is educating and training primarily women about how to look and feel good. Because a lot of the times I found that I could look good because I had the I am fine face. But then I didn't feel good.
Okay.
So, but now I think I look good. But I know I feel good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that's what I want to be able to give back to other people.
Andrea, thank you so much for sharing your story, and all the best for December, as we said.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to hearing from you very soon.
Yeah,
thank
definitely.
you. All right, guys, who do you think holds more CrossFit memberships, men or women? Tune in after the break to find out. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. Now, before the break, I asked you, who do you think hold more CrossFit memberships in the UK, men or women? Well, according to Incredible Online, the answer is women, who take up 60% of memberships. So here we have performance of Call On Me by musician Michael G. Macdermid.
Sometimes the world can't be heavy. Sometimes the road can feel too long. Sometimes it's hard to find forgiveness. Sometimes it's hard to let it go. And when you feel like you're falling and the stars come crashing down and the world, it keeps on spinning, and there's no one else around. You can always call on me. You can always call on me. 'Cause we all need a little help eventually. So you can always call on me. When the day has left you broken, when the night has left you cold, and when your heart can't take the beating, and all hope has left your soul. If the future terrifies you and the past won't cut you slack, there's a place to run for cover. There's someone who's got your back. You can always call on me. You can always call on me. 'Cause we all need a little love eventually. And you can always call on me. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can always call on me. You can always call on me. 'Cause we all need a little love eventually. You can always call on me. Yeah, you can always call on me. You can always call on me. Hey, and I'll be there, guaranteed. You can always call on me.
So now here are a few points on how to get motivated when you're feeling depressed. So the first point is, don't set the bar too high. So when you're depressed, it can be really difficult to do even the most basic tasks like housework, for example. But it's important that you do something and not let depression take over. So even if it's a small goal, like maybe doing the washing up or just cleaning your wardrobe, set yourself that goal and then set yourself some smaller goals first so you don't feel anxious or overwhelmed. And when I say, you know, don't set the bar too high, it's not that you're going to accept living in that situation forever, because I believe that, you know, I believe in the impossible and I believe people should set really high goals for themselves. But obviously if you're feeling depressed, you need to get the help that you need first of all and take things step by step. So there's two ways of looking at this. So yes, don't set the bar too high in terms of when you feel anxious and overwhelmed. To try to set yourself small goals, but overall you should have big goals for your life and you can achieve them. The second point is, don't give in to how you feel. So some things can feel so overwhelming and it can seem like they're not worth the effort. And this is where you really need to use your head and not focus on how you feel right now, but on how you will feel after you've completed a certain task. And I have to apply this certain principle when it comes to exercise. So there are many times, actually I would say most times, I don't feel like exercising. I feel tired, I feel like I don't have the time to do it. But what I try to focus on is actually, okay, I don't feel like it now, but how am I going to feel if I don't exercise? Probably I feel bad and I know that I needed to do something. How am I going to feel if I do exercise? And I know that every time I exercise, I never regret it. I do, however, regret not exercising. So always try to think ahead and think of the consequences of doing or not doing something. The third point is, get some support. So there are times when your feelings will try to get the better of you. So there's no problem to enlist some help. So maybe you can have a friend, maybe that can hold you accountable for certain things. For example, like going to a gym session together. So you may actually get annoyed with this person, you may feel like strangling them at times, but we do tend to push ourselves a bit more when we're actually accountable to someone else. And remember, this isn't going to be forever. You're not going to be depending or relying on this person forever. It's just to get you through some hard moments. And the next point is, no self-criticism. So depression lies to you. It tells you that you're lazy, that you're useless, that you're a waste of space. And if you listen to these lies, you're only going to feel worse. And actually what I do say on the program and at talks that I go to sometimes, I don't think people with depression or mental health issues are weak in any way, shape or form. I actually think you are amazingly strong, because it's very difficult to wake up every day and go about your normal business. Maybe you go to college, maybe you're holding a job, you have children to look after, but you still manage to do these things despite what you're feeling. So that takes a tremendous amount of strength. So please remember that, and don't put yourself down and criticize yourself because you are depressed. The important thing, however, is to remember that you can beat depression, you can beat mental health issues. You just have to believe in it first of all and get the right help that you need. And finally, the fifth point is to congratulate yourself. Even if you may feel like you're just taking baby steps at the moment and you haven't achieved very much, but the important thing is that there has been some progress, and that alone should be a reason to congratulate yourself and to celebrate. So don't maybe look at the small things that you've achieved as though they're nothing. They are something, because they're a step to your recovery and a step to your progress. So always congratulate yourself. Well, everyone, we have reached the end of today's program, but don't forget, if you have a story that you would like to share like Andrea did, you are welcome to come on the sofa and have a chat with me. So you can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And if you'd like to know more about how I beat depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and other mental health issues, you can visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Until next time, bye-bye for now.